Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Yes, I'm gonna keep being consistent. So let's get into this install. This is a Bobbi Boss lace wig. It is premium synthetic. Her name is PHILA, and I actually got this one off the mannequin because this was the last one in this color. I didn't want any of the other colors. I've been really loving this like 1B30. So they actually gave me 10% off because it was like the display model. I love the realistic hairline on this. Not much plucking that you have to do. And yeah, so we're gonna install this. My favorite part is, how deep the lace goes back. It's a 13x4 deep lace. So this was definitely a steal. And because it was on the mannequin or the display, I did wash it. And I let it air dry for a day. So these are the things that I look for. I look to see that they do have HD lace. I look to see that it's premium synthetic or synthetic blend, and then also how deep the lace is. So let's get started, y'all. So before I put the wig on, I have a really small peanut head, so leaving these anchors, like the little anchor hooks in where it was too big for me, and I like to have it a little snug and secure. So I always move over the anchor hooks to the middle, and I kind of crisscross them so they fit tight on my head. So I always try it on just to make sure it's snug and it's fitting how I want it to. And here I'm just checking to see where I do need to pluck at. Clearly towards the front of the forehead, it's already pre-plucked. On the sides, it was not plucked at all. So that's what I'm going to start working on next. Kind of clipped it back on the sides, and I'm going to just start pulling out literally the thinnest line to start cutting from. And because it's synthetic, I don't pluck. I feel like plucking doesn't work for me, and I'm not a professional, guys. Like, disclaimer, I'm not a professional hairstylist. I do makeup. So I'm just doing what works for me, and what works for me is just literally cutting out the hair to make it look a little bit more realistic, to give it more of that scalp look, if that makes sense. So as you see right here, I'm going to start cutting from the top. I'm pulling it down so that I can clearly see where I'm cutting, and I'm just cutting away wherever it's bulky at, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm explaining this at all. Also, don't be afraid to cut the hair, guys. Don't be afraid to cut that hair off and make it look as realistic as possible. So you see, because it's a curly wig, it will be easier with a straight wig, but I'm pulling the hair so that I'm getting that excess hair that I cut. I also go into the actual wig and cut the hair there, and you see I'm pulling it, making sure I get all that hair out. And same thing, I'm going to do the same thing that we did on that side to this side. Next, I'm going to cut 2 cuts. I'm going to make like a flap on the right side, a flap on the left side. And this is going to make it so much easier to lay down your wig. Whether you're doing glue or the Got To Be Glued spray, I'm going to lay it down like this, and it's so easy. Here I'm just wiping down my forehead with alcohol just to make sure that I have a clean space to lay down that glue, and also to remove any of the oils that you have on your hands. I'm going to be using the Bold Hold Active glue, which is my favorite because one, I sweat in my head, so this active really works for me. I'm going to do some dots and then use a little plastic spatula and lay that down. I'm going to do the thinnest layer, and with this active, literally a little goes a long way. So I use the littlest bit, and I get it down to a really thin layer, and I repeat this step 3 times. So dot, lay it down with the spatula, and then I dry it down to where it's translucent and to where it's clear. If you add glue while it's still wet, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. So just make sure that that first layer is clear and translucent, can't say that word, translucent, before you add the second and third layer, and you're just going to repeat that. Alright, so now that we have all 3 layers down and translucent, you see that it's clear, I'm going to pull it down over where the end of that glue ends, and then I'm going to back comb the hair and the lace into that glue, making sure that that lace is sticking to that glue and you have a really secure hold. I mean, you can tell just by me combing it, like it was secure. Look at that hairline. Come through, Bobbi Boss, come through. So I did speed this part up a lot because it's literally, I'm doing the same thing that I did in the middle to the left and the right side. Now once that's laid down with the glue, I'm going to take an elastic band and wrap this around to secure the hold even more. Now it is time for the cutting of the lace. I am going to take a razor because the razor does make the lace cutting look a little bit more jagged and realistic, and make the lace kind of seamless into your hairline. It'll kind of blend in a little better while using a razor. You can use scissors, but if you do use scissors, make sure that you kind of jagged your scissors or your cutting. So next I'm gonna go in, take that hair down, and I'm just going to see exactly where I'm going to thin out the sides near my ear. So I always kind of take like a finger and go from like the front or the back of my ear, how I'm doing there, pin it back, do the same thing to the other side, just so that I can see, you know, how I'm gonna thin out the ears and make this look a little bit more realistic. So I'm just cutting that excess lace off by the ear, and I'm going to do the same to the other side. So now with the same process that I did when I laid down the entire wig, just these few spots that were missed, I'm just going to go in with a little bit of more glue, thin that out, and do literally the same thing that we did to lay them sides down. Okay, so now it's time to cut around those ears and thinning that out. I feel like this is the most important step, is thinning out around your ears, because we naturally don't, well, me, I'm not going to speak for everyone else, me naturally, I don't have a lot of hair around my ears, like it's really thin. So I'm going to thin that part out by cutting it. Here I'm also taking some more alcohol just to get any excess glue off before I lay down the baby hairs. Now I know a lot of people have mixed views on baby hairs. I personally like them. I like a little something, you know. I remember when I first started doing this type of protective style, I had all the baby hairs in the world, and it just, to me, it just didn't look as good as everyone else's. So, you know, with of course more practice, the more you practice, the better you get at it. And now I've learned that you don't really need to pull down a lot of hair. And Bobbi Boss's pre-plucked wigs makes it so much easier to lay down the baby hairs, because, you know, their pre-plucked hairline is more realistic. So thanks to Bobbi Boss, they made it a little easier for your girl. So I know there's a million baby hair tutorials here on YouTube, so I'm just gonna kind of do my thing. I didn't have any like direction or any picture that I was looking at. I kind of just, you know, do how I see fit, and whatever's working for me. I kind of turned down the lighting so that you guys can, you know, kind of see a little bit more of what I was doing, pulling away that hair and still kind of, you know, cutting at the same time to get that more realistic thinned out hairline effect. Still cutting a lot of hair, but again, don't be afraid to cut into that hair to make it look realistic for you. And again, I'm still pulling, and I'm still pulling out that excess hair that I am cutting from the lace. You see me getting excited because I'm almost done. I did seal everything in with the Got to Be Glued, because once you use this spray, guys, literally that HD lace melts even more. Like, it literally just disappears. So I'm putting on the band again. This is how much hair I cut from the entire wig, and it's looking flawless, low key. And because, you know, I'm all up close, you're gonna see a little bit of the lace, but in pictures and far away, no one's gonna be that close to you. It's still coronavirus outside. Stay 6 feet away. But this is the final look. I absolutely love how this turned out so much. Thank you, Bobbi Boss, for making it so easy for your girl. And if you want more videos like this, stay tuned. Thank you, guys. See you in the next one.